Hey everybody, today I'm joined with the guys from Aerosmith. I got Connie, Joe, and Keith, and they're a terrific Aerosmith tribute band based out of Florida. And I'm extremely excited to have these guys here. What's up, everybody?
How are you?
Scott.
Hey, I can call you brother because you really are my brother.
That's right, brother. Yeah, Keith is my older brother, and
I'm the warmer brother, being in Florida right now with these guys.
Oh man,
not to rub it in or anything. Joe's from New York, Connie's from Philly, so they know cold.
Yeah, don't miss it all.
It's starting to get cold out here in Illinois, and I've been walking around the house, like literally, like with my hands on my arms all day, just shivering. I hate the winter so much.
It went down to 48 today, so it's pretty cold for us also.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're freezing down here in the 60s,
Jeez. So I'm interested. Who founded the band?
I'll go ahead and take that, Connie. Went to Craigslist and just for looking for something different, and I saw an advertisement for a band looking for Brad Whitford. So I figured, well, I can kind of play that part, and that shouldn't be too difficult to do. So I went down, and everything just really went well. It was pretty exciting. I joined a band. We pretty much got everybody together. We rehearsed for a few months, and we were just about to try to, we were going to work on getting some gigs. And we lost our guitar player, and then Connie got in contact with us. And that was basically it. That's how the core came together. But Connie and a few of the other guys came over. We started doing gigs. Everything worked out great. And then along the lines, we made some changes. And Connie, I'll let you go ahead and take it from there.
Yeah, I know, Joe, you had gone ahead and gotten the project started off the ground, and I kind of found my way in there. And as time goes on, like any band, you want to bring on the best musicians possible and make appropriate changes, and everybody's got to have the same goals. So we ended up getting a core group of guys. Keith jumped right in there, and of course Rich and George. Unfortunately, they couldn't be with us today, but ended up really like any band, you eventually find the core group of guys that you enjoy being with and hanging with, as well as the fact that they're just quality musicians.
What are some of the challenges of a tribute band versus cover band or original band?
What I've found to be the biggest challenges is meeting the expectations of the audience. Hey, listen, if I'm going to go see Kiss in concert, I've been seeing these guys since 1977. I love every single show that I go to, and they're still kicking it. If I'm going to go see a tribute band that hold themselves out to be Kiss, I'm going to have really, as jaded as that may be, I've got the same. I got an expectation. I've seen Kiss perform. I've seen some fantastic local tribute bands here, and it is absolutely amazing how you sit there and you say, you know what, John is Paul Stanley, and he really becomes Paul Stanley up there. So yeah. Idea, you've got a guy who's got a skill set, and now all of a sudden he sounds like Paul when he's singing, he's playing like Paul, he looks like Paul. They got it, so they bring that whole show. So as far as the challenges is, we could all get together and enjoy playing the music of our heroes, but it's meeting the expectations of the audience that's there to see you perform that particular artist. whichever one it may be.
Yeah, I
that's-
mean,
that's very well said, Connie. The word tribute, I think, means exactly that, is that you take it very seriously. You want to do the best job you can to emulate the music you grew up loving, and you want to do it justice, the best way that you can, whether that be looking the part, playing the part, and presenting that whole package. I mean, you want to do it proud, right?
yeah, definitely. And you guys definitely do a fantastic job. You mentioned a little bit about South Florida, and you've had a lot of opportunities to play with some really great tribute bands, also besides yourself. What's the music scene down like there? Is it happening? Because it certainly seems to be happening with all the Facebook stuff and I see from you guys and the big shows and all that.
Well, not so much the big shows. I mean, that's the issue. I think that we're facing the same challenges as the other acts. All the larger festivals and bigger venues, of course, with the world that we live in today.
Right.
It's a whole different set of protocols that you need to do, and the distancing, and of course, we're going to follow that to the letter of the T. You do have where there are some smaller venues, and even some venues that you may or may not typically find ourselves in, because we would typically be at the larger festivals. But you get a phone call and you see a local business that's looking for some, doing everything they can to support the music scene and doing everything they possibly can also to deliver some good music that everybody's starving for these days. And as long as they could do that and do it safely with distancing and protocols and everything else like that, it's interesting. We found ourselves playing a couple of different venues there that really ended up being a great experience and fun. And of course, the owners are always appreciative and along those lines. So, I think we're going to start to see things, hopefully with the vaccine coming on board here, develop a little bit quicker, in the sense that bands are going to be out there. It's interesting, in the last 48 hours, I know Joe got 2 calls. I actually got 2 additional calls today, where we're starting to see some of these venues getting themselves lined up for perhaps some reopening in 2021. I know we were all wondering if the entire year was going to get written off, but it doesn't look as though that's the case. It looks as though the music might come back strong here, hoping for a vaccine to help with all of that. But, existing music scene, at least down here in South Florida, is slowly starting to open back up again. So we're hopeful that it continues along that track safely.
Yeah, I should have mentioned sort of that question was kind of geared towards pre-COVID.
Sure.
So
before COVID, I thought it was great. There are a lot of really talented people, some great bands, cover bands. I'm a music fan number one, so when I'm not playing, which is pretty much all the time now, but when I do have time off, I like to go support other bands, go check them out, see what's going on. And there's really blessed with a lot of talent, at least that I've come across so far. I'm kind of on the central, the center of the state on the East Coast, and I came up from Miami, and it's more of a I don't know, a DJ scene down in Miami, but up in this area, I was actually shocked at all the places that are doing live music just on a local level and beyond. So, I mean, it was great. I was really happy with that.
cool. Bands, you could have chose to tribute. Why Aerosmith?
I did it because, obviously, because I saw that ad,
Right.
Craigslist initially, but it wasn't just because of that. Aerosmith just has such a diverse catalog. I mean, they go from harder rock to ballads to almost country sounding music. Some funky stuff from even some of the earlier albums, like Sight for Sore Eyes, is really funky, and generally my personal musical taste is all over the place anyway. So I know that I'd never get bored with them. I remember hearing Seasons of Wither the first time a friend gave me a cassette tape in high school, and I knew about Get Your Wings, but I only heard they played on the radio, and it was great. But when I actually listened to the depth of even that first album, I was hooked on it. So for me, it's just, I mean, I've been covering Aerosmith, it seems like ever since I could play guitar. But once I got into the tribute thing, I realized I've been playing it wrong for all those years. All really start to dig in, and because we do dissect it. That's one of the things that we take really seriously. We've all been to the Aerosmith shows multiple times, and I think what we try to do is um, get as close to seeing Aerosmith live as possible, which isn't always like the record. We might take a song and have a little bit of extended jam in the middle of it, like Aerosmith normally does in their shows. And we definitely we have a great time doing that because you get a little bit of your own feel with the style. So I'll play in the style of Brad Whitford, but a little bit, put some of my own stuff in also. So it's a lot of fun. It definitely keeps you interested.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys about your influences.
Well,
Let's
know,
start with Keith. Yeah, go ahead.
I know Connie and Joe are huge Aerosmith fans, and I always was too. I mean, Connie's a big Kiss fan. I mean, we went to see Kiss last year. That was awesome. I mean, I started off with Kiss, a huge Kiss fan, and also Aerosmith live bootleg. I think it was the first Aerosmith album I had as a kid, and the Cars and Cheap Trick, and obviously Led Zeppelin and all that kind of stuff, and all the 80s stuff. I mean, Scott, I've played in so many different bands over the years as a drummer and a bass player.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm still in a U2 tribute band, U2 by UV, and that's a lot of fun. I really enjoy that. I mean, like the other guys are saying, I mean, there's so many different influences, and when there was an opportunity to play with Aerosmith, I just jumped on it because I always knew that bass playing Tom Hamilton is so underrated. And, a song like Sweet Emotion, I mean, the bass makes the song.
Yeah.
For the most part. So being able to play that it's so awesome. I mean, when you get to play that live and see how people react to it, it's really awesome.
Yeah, that's got to be great. And
well, if you remember, I started off on guitar.
Well, on guitar, yeah.
And then you started playing guitar as well, so we were both guitar players in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I switched over to drums back in Chicago, and went out to California briefly, and then came back, and pretty much it was a solid 10 years of drumming.
Yeah.
Playing all over the freaking place, Chicago, California, New York, wherever. And then when I hit 30 years old and we moved down here to South Florida, I kind of hung up my original hat, started playing in cover bands as a bass player just to get out from, I've been playing drums for 10 years and kind of tired of hauling that crap around, So
I don't blame you.
Bass seemed like a real natural progression from there, and played for years in cover bands. And then one day I saw an ad for a Journey tribute band looking for a bass player, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. And I tried out for that and ended up getting it, and spent a few years with that. And since then, it's like musicians have to just do whatever they can to keep playing, whether it be if you play multiple instruments, then do it all, do whatever you can to keep playing.
Yeah.
But Aerosmith has been really great. I've been in it for 2 years now and just enjoy the crap out of it.
How about you, Connie? Influences?
I guess you just hit that age, and it hits you like a ton of bricks where, well, I guess, what is it? You're going into your freshman year of high school, and all of a sudden it's like 1978, and oh man, you hear Van Halen and Jimmy Page and Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith, and I think back now. You talk about influences. In my room, I used to just lock myself in the room before I go to school every day, and just play for an hour, play for 2 hours, just sitting there saying to myself, all right, I don't think I know what I'm doing on this thing, but at the same time, I want to try to make it sound like these guys, whoever that may be. And sure enough, working at it. So it's just, I guess my influences were the guys that I really enjoyed listening to at the time. And I think back on my wall in the bedroom, I paid one of my close friends in Burger King and McDonald's and Dairy Queen to come over and painted my wall the most beautiful portraits and abstracts. I got an abstract of Jimmy Page. I got Eddie Van Halen doing his thing. And I'm saying to myself, all right, so every single day, man, when I wake up in the morning, I'd see this abstract on the wall, and I'd say, all right, I'm gonna learn how to play like these guys. And so my influences were, my top three guys were Eddie Van Halen, Jimmy Page, and Joe Perry. And
Wow.
So original influences. It's taken me forever. I'm still working at it, trying to sound like any one of the three, but it's been a fun ride along the way.
Awesome. Let's switch gears here, and I want to talk about this show you guys are going to be on called Tribute Wars.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to be coming out, I'm not going to guess, but sometime next year, I think, right?
It's supposed to be in when the new shows come out in September. We're actually going to be, there are 13 bands.
13 weeks.
13 shows, and each episode will have, like, there's an Aerosmith band. We're going against another Aerosmith tribute band. They have Led Zeppelin, Heart, a bunch of different bands, AC/DC. And from what we understand, we're going to have our episode actually recorded in April. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm really excited about it. It's supposed to be at the Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. So really looking forward to that. So
Is that going to be like,
it's
go ahead, Keith.
a competition type thing to where, we're going to go up against another Aerosmith tribute band. And so each show in the season will be the same way. A Kiss band goes up against a different Kiss band, and from what I understand, the TV audience will be the ones that vote on it.
Oh.
To see who goes forward. So just like your American Idol, your singing competition shows, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you'll find that along the way when we were asked to do this, of course you have a number of questions and what have you, but what it's really turned out to be is a tremendous amount of camaraderie between the musicians. Even though it might be promoted as a competition between some of the best tribute bands in the country over the series of this program. The reality is we've already made a whole group of other friends within the tribute band world in terms of both other Aerosmith tribute bands. I mean, these guys up in New York with Get Your Wings, they're phenomenal. They're a good group of guys. They're a great band. And it's nice to see that there's another group of people out there that are taking their craft as serious as what we do. And I'm finding that with the various bands along the way. Every one of them are incredibly talented musicians. I mean, look at Keith here. Keith's in multiple tribute bands, multiple other bands. He plays multiple instruments. I don't know where he finds time to work, but yet at the same time, taking that part of his life so seriously, and he's so good at it. And I'm finding that these guys in these other bands, these other men and ladies that are in these other bands, doing the same thing. They take this, they take their music so serious, and I think that's really one of the biggest parts of being in a tribute band. So.
Yeah, a lot of these bands that are going to be on the show are based in South Florida, several of them. And we all know them already. They're friends, they're great guys, they're great musicians, they're great bands. And it's almost a little bit like high school in a way, like, hey, what's going on? Everybody knows each other. And we've done shows together even sometimes. So like Connie said, it's a real camaraderie thing. I'm not even looking at it like a competition, even though if that's what it's supposed to be, that's fine. But I'm looking at it like it's a great opportunity to hang out with some great people, see some great bands, and have a lot of fun. So.
And I think what Tribute Wars is going to do is it's going to bring that platform out nationally to a national audience. Because in every city across the country, we all want to see the bands that we've grown up with, and at the same time, some of the bands are still touring, some of the bands aren't touring, and it's just good to get out there and see somebody be able to pull it off. And what Tribute Wars is going to be able to do is broadcast that nationally throughout the series, and you'll see it. Great musicians, great bands go head-to-head over the course of the season. And then, like you said, there's the audience participation in there where, at least what we understand so far, they'll put it to vote. But there's going to be some really, really good quality musicians and bands that will be brought to the forefront and hopefully make their the actual artist very, very proud of what we're all trying to accomplish here. We're just trying to carry the torch.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea for a show. You got shows like American Idol and stuff like that where it's just people singing whatever they want. There's no kind of rules, but this is like you got bands, tribute bands that, and, you're doing a specific thing and that can actually be judged, by comparing to another band. I mean, you guys can actually watch. I mean, it's all difference of opinion, but
Right.
still, I think it's a great idea. I think it's great for rock and roll. It's great for tribute bands all over that, there's going to get some national attention, and you guys included in that. So that's awesome. How did that get set up, Joe? Joe, you were telling me a little bit about how that you guys got on that show a week ago when I was talking to you on the phone. Could you tell everyone how that happened?
Well, we basically got a call that they were interested in having us do it, and it really wasn't much beyond that. Some of the things that came after, we were asked to do the show basically, and we obviously jumped on the opportunity to do it. But one of the things that was really interesting for me was with the after the Tribute Wars, they're going to have a Tribute Wars tour, which we've actually done we did one date already with Van Halen tribute. It is absolutely amazing. Called Unchained, completely Unchained, and you're watching Van Halen. I mean, it's great, right down to I mean, every little specific is handled with that. And we did a show with them a couple weeks ago, and I'm looking forward to actually touring. You know, with the Tribute Wars tour. So that's the most exciting thing for me, because I kind of feel like Keith does about the competition. Yes, it's a competition, but there's a community that I had no idea with tribute bands, and it's just so fun to be a part of and to get to know these. And there's so many cool people that you meet, and it's been a great experience so far.
Yeah. So I saw on Facebook, it was quite a while ago, I think, not that long ago, but you guys did like a fantasy rock star camp. I can't remember what it was called exactly. Joe Perry was there. Jason Bonham. You guys got to hang out and with one of your idols, huh?
Yes, we did. 3 of us did. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Connie put that together and got myself and Joe involved, and also a couple guys from Get the Lead Out, national touring Led Zeppelin bands. Awesome, incredible band. Connie grew up with Paul, the lead singer, so Connie brought Paul, the singer, and Adam, the drummer, down. So we had like our own little band that we put together, and the goal was to play with Joe Perry and Jason Bonham as well. And we got to play with Jason, which was awesome. And unfortunately, Joe Perry didn't make it down to that rock and roll fantasy camp that particular day. But Connie and Joe got to play with him again at another rock fantasy.
Yeah, Scott, I don't know if you're familiar with the brand that's out there, but David Fishoff had put together a number of years ago what they call Fantasy Rock Camp. And
Okay.
in a nutshell, what you have is you got a group of nerdy guitar players like us all in the room here. And we say, hey, listen, let's get together for 3 or 4 days in some great city in North America. Usually it's Vegas or LA. It's been in Toronto. It's been in Miami. And, you know, one of the times it was in Fort Lauderdale. You never really know at any time who's going to walk in through the door. Sometimes you do have somewhat of an expectation who's going to be there, but they do a great job of pulling it off where, you know, you can you show up by yourself and kind of see what the weekend throws at you at the end of the weekend, or you show up with a group of friends like we did here. And it's great to experience something like that because, again, tribute band or no tribute band, it gives you the opportunity to kind of really improve your skill set, get a chance to meet another group of great people, just other musicians across the country that are excited just about honing their craft. And then at the same time, one of the neat aspects of it is they get some A-listers in there with regards to sometimes even having the opportunity to get up there and jam, and then those kinds of things happen. Exactly that. Joe and I had a chance to attend a rock camp out in Las Vegas, and made some great friends and played with some absolutely incredible musicians. And then all of a sudden on Sunday, Joe?
Yeah.
Joe walked in and we ended up on stage at the Hard Rock playing with our idol. I mean, you know, how many times does that happen in life? I've been lucky enough where it's happened more than once, but at the same time, it was just a great opportunity where it's, you know, you get a chance to meet and you see the artist appreciation for us as a musician, where we're trying to hone our craft, but also, our excitement with meeting one of your idols, but actually getting a chance to play with one of your idols. That's just an extremely rare event in anyone's lifetime.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's nice. I mean, anybody that I've ever met, and I think Joe and Keith, you would say the same thing. Any of these unbelievable artists, as famous as they may be, truly humble and appreciative, and it's amazing as all the hard work we put in over the years to do what we do, but then all of a sudden seeing how much they appreciate the fact and how much fun they are having playing with us. I mean, that's what's absolutely incredible about it. So we established some great friendships over the years as well. So
we when I was in the camp with in Fort Lauderdale with Connie and Joe, they have camp counselors, right? So our counselor was Vinny Appice from Dio, Black Sabbath, and we
Wow.
just got to hang out with him, jam with him, and he was the sweetest guy in the world and incredible drummer. Dio song or whatever with Vinny, or a Zeppelin song, and it was just so cool. I mean, you look at him playing and you listen to him and you're like, that's him. That's what I grew up listening to. He doesn't sound like anybody else. He's, everybody has their own style, and
Yeah.
a lot of people just stand out like they don't sound like anybody else. But, that was just a personal thrill for me. But
I think, and I agree with Keith, that was probably the most fun out of the camps. You absolutely love getting a chance to play with your idols, which is the main focus that you're going there for, but the actual camaraderie that you develop, and there are different groups, and you're actually the people that are preparing you to play with, like, for instance, Joe Perry or Jason Bonham, or we also had Vince Neil. But you have rock stars that are actually guiding you on what you need, what you don't need. So, and you develop a bond. It's just incredible because you're hanging out with them, a downtime, you're having cocktails with them, you're listening to some of the road stories. I mean, Vinny Appice is a trip. It's just so much stories he told us. It was great. Times with Black Sabbath, and I mean, all of them. We're really fortunate. And we Vinny the first time, and then when we were out in Vegas, we had Gary Hoey, he's an incredible guitar player. But there's so many, and you basically have jam nights where you can walk into different rooms and step up and start playing. I mean, Keith ended up spending good amount of time with Gary Hoey. Remember that? Walked in and he just sat down on the bass, and they were jamming like crazy. It was great.
Yeah, I was outside. I think we were having lunch, and somebody calls me in, and I walk into a room, and it's Vinny Appice on drums, Chip Z'Nuff on bass, and
Nice.
Gary Hoey on guitar. No, actually, Chip was playing guitar, and Gary was playing guitar. And Chip plays guitar really, really well too, Scott.
And
Yeah.
Somebody handed me a Rickenbacker bass. I'm like, okay, let's do, Immigrant Song or whatever like that. And that was a trip. It was so much fun.
Oh, wow.
I think back in one of my very, very first rock camps, we kind of roll in. We're trying to figure things out, and what is it that we're doing here, and what have you. And I was lucky enough to play with a couple of guys that both Joe and Keith have played with before. A dear friend of mine out of Philadelphia, Paul Sinclair. He's with the greatest Led Zeppelin tribute band in the world. He's in Get the Lead Out, their lead vocalist. And so we had a couple of guys that we ended up connecting with out there in Las Vegas, walked into a room, and We're trying to warm up, go through a couple of different things, getting some ideas out there. Our camp counselor was Elliot Easton from the Cars at that particular point in time, and giving us a few pointers. And so all of a sudden, I have Joe Vitale's at the front door, the drummer for Joe Walsh, and just the awesome character. And he kind of peeks his head and he goes, I heard you guys kind of knocking out some Zeppelin a little earlier. Man, if there's anything I want to do this weekend, could I jump in there, play some drums on some Zeppelin? It's like, you got this legend. You mind if I come in and play with you? You guys are great. And it's like, here you go. Sit down. Let's go.
Wow.
Fantastic. And it came through because, I even think of the last rock camp I had out there in Vegas, and it was, Paul Stanley and Tommy Thayer were out there from Kiss. And next thing you know is it's Sunday night. Things are wrapping up. All the everybody that's been out there all weekend is actually doing a live performance in front of a playing crowd at the Mandalay Bay House of Blues in Las Vegas. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know is they make an announcement. You're walking on stage, and there's Paul Stanley. It's like, hey, what do you want to do? It's like, Detroit Rock City. All right, let's go. Sitting there, you're in front of an audience, and you're playing Detroit Rock City and Love Gun in front of a great group of people with your legend. I mean, again, It's that kind of thing. But at the same time, I found that even when we do what we do as a tribute band, you've got the audience coming out there looking at a tribute band to remind them of their great experiences when they went out and they saw Kiss and AC/DC and Aerosmith and Zeppelin and all these great bands. And you have that audience participation in there. And the whole idea there is give them a great show. Get out there and kick some butt, play some rock and roll, and give them the money's worth.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. I can't imagine. I did get to meet one of my idols, and it was awesome. But I can't imagine just like different people coming in just like constantly. That'd be, and playing with them on stage. Wow, had to be an experience.
Yeah, just one thing I really can't walk out of the room with at least mentioning it. Our dear friend David Fishoff, who does run the rock camps and originated the concept, he's recognized over the years, and he's heard it from the artists as well as the people that are there for the camps, as well as even just the general public who has had the opportunity to see some of these take place. And he actually found a way to put it on film, and he spent a fortune and a number of years of his life having a great team put together a documentary about rock camp. And it just came out. He was actually in Florida at the Key West Film Festival, and just kudos to him because he ended up winning Best Documentary, large format, full length, I should say, excuse me. So anyway, that's going to be coming out in a couple of months, and
cool.
If anybody kind of wants to see the general idea, the stories behind it. And it really is a touching film because, here we are, we have a great life and get a chance to go out there and experience some of these things. But you see how music reaches people and touches them in so many different ways. There was one of the segments of the documentary actually follows a series of different campers and different parts of their life. And one young man was autistic, and it showed the struggles that he went through life in his early years, and then as a teenager. And then one of the things that just kind of fell into his life was the guitar. And sure enough, I remember seeing this young man at my very first rock camp that I think was his first rock camp. And it was interesting how the musicians all huddle up together, and you find a way to make sure that somebody has the ability to break out of their shell. I got to tell you something. I could practice and I could sit there and do this full time for the next 100 years, and I will never be as good as this young man has become on the guitar and the talents and everything else like that. But it shows that he was able to break out of his shell and perform, and just you just see him perform and you say, how does he do that? He's just so talented. And that's one of the backstories of the film, of course. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that because it is something that, you know, as musicians, those are things that we like to see. We like to see the way our music has an effect on people, just as music has had an effect on us, and especially in these times here where everybody needs anything they can to better their soul.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some of your favorite Aerosmith songs to play live?
There you go. Keith, why don't you start with this one? We'll go around the horn.
Well, for me, probably Sweet Emotion, because it, you know, the song starts with the bass, and it's such an iconic bass line.
Yeah.
And just the entire song is so great. I mean, I love them all, but I mean, I'd probably also say like something like Toys in the Attic. You know, we like to open with that song. It's a, you know, it's a real up-tempo, ass-kicking song, and it's a bit difficult to play on the bass, so it's always a challenge. Those are the first two that come to my mind. You know? How about you,
Okay.
Joe?
I'd say, well, definitely where you get the most response when you get the feedback from the audience. I love that song that night, but I guess the one that I have the most fun playing is probably Adam's Apple, because it's just, we're doing dual solos in that, and it's not an easy song to play, but it's just one of those classic deep cut songs that I've loved since I heard it the first time. And even the name of our band is Erasmith, and basically we play a good majority of what we do is the early, so that's why the era, because we have the era Smith.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that.
Your stuff.
It's
But
for those that don't see the subtitles, it's spelled Erasmith. So it's certainly a play on words, but at the same time, we've gotten to the point where we're playing a series of the various eras of that particular band, of Aerosmith.
right. We do quite a bit more of the catalog than when we initially started, but that was pretty much it. So I do like some of the earlier stuff, but really shocked at even something like Love in an Elevator. That wasn't my favorite song, but once I dug in and the difficulty of it, I really had an appreciation for it, and I absolutely love it now. And it's just, I guess sometimes you have to dig in and just to work, at least with me, to have an appreciation, or more of an appreciation than I initially did.
Cool. And Connie, how about you?
Yeah, you know, it's obvious we're talking with a group of musicians here, because here we're talking about some of the B-side songs and the songs that may not have had commercial success.
Yeah.
But it's something that's really touched us in a very, very different way. And I don't think I'm any different. Of course, we love playing, I mean, the hits. I mean, one of my favorite to play at the show, of course, like Keith, is Sweet Emotion, because it gets the audience goes crazy, of course. But at the same time, we also love playing some things where we're able to get the reaction from the audience, even if it wasn't as commercially popular. But you talk to musicians and they'll go, oh my gosh, you guys played No More, No More. And, you know, here you got this song that, for our own reasons, why is it our favorite? It's one of my favorites because it was such a challenge. You know, it's a song where, you know, Perry's got two different guitars and two different tunings that he's playing the solo in one tuning, he's playing the whole rest of the song in a different tuning. So it was a challenge. Of course, I love playing Rats in the Cellar because I get to see these guys wince in pain from the other side of the stage every time we play it.
Yeah,
It's like,
It's an
what-
song, but on the outro solo, there
oh
is
man, the riff at the end of that song, Joe and I look at each other in pain, trying
Yeah.
to keep that riff going.
it's a very, very fast and technical riff, and they just got to keep that chugging along at warp speed and pray that I'm not going to take an extended solo. So read it. If somebody helped carry an amp in earlier, then I may keep that solo short. But if if not, otherwise they're going to be in trouble. I'm going to do an extended solo in there and watch them crying from the other side of the stage.
I can see Joe's face turning red after a while, and he's struggling to breathe and everything, like he's doubling over,
It's fun though. That's things, and I wish the other guys could be here because we're really lucky to have a band that just gets along so well. This has been the first band that I've ever been in that everything just gels. Our demeanors, our personalities, they all work well together. We're all different, but at the same time, it just we have respect and appreciation for each other, and just love to. We all have a love for the music and want it done well.
Yeah, we got to say a special shout out to George, our lead singer. He does an incredible job as Steven Tyler. I mean,
yeah, it's not easy to do.
No, I mean Tyler's voice and his stage antics and mannerisms and moves and all that. I mean, George has really been doing such an incredible job on that. It's not easy. And Rich, our drummer, I love playing with him. He's so solid, and he's got every little lick down. Every little Joey Kramer lick, and he puts his own spin on it as well. And he's a really experienced drummer, so he brings a lot to the table. So we got to give a shout out to those guys.
Cool. Did you guys ever see? It was a long time ago. It was I think it was Aerosmith during the making of like Pump or something like that.
Yeah.
Joey Kramer was arguing with Steven Tyler or something like that about something, and Steven Tyler said something like, every time he's mad, his eyebrow starts twitching or something like that. And then they showed Joey and his was all twitching. I don't remember the whole story, but.
Well, Steven's I think started off as a drummer. So, and
yeah,
I've heard he's a good drummer. So, he's more or less the leader of the band. So he probably has it in his mind already what he wants the drums to do. So,
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so
he was trying to tell him, I want this. And,
right.
And
there's probably going to be a little friction there,
Yeah.
But
the first time that Keith actually played with us, because we knew him, he was in a Led Zeppelin tribute band at the time, and we had a gig, and our drummer was not going to be able to do it, and so Keith actually, and it was probably a year before he joined the band. About that, right, Keith?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I was playing drums,
right,
with In the Light of Led Zeppelin with Antonio and Autumn and Linda, all of our friends, and I stepped in to play drums on Aerosmith, and I remember thinking how different it was, John Bonham versus Joey Kramer and Zeppelin versus Aerosmith. At first, in my mind, I thought, oh, it should be a piece of cake, I should be able to just jump right in. And then, but actually playing it was very different. I found it actually challenging, and which is a nice surprise. And but yeah, that was the first time I actually played with you guys, was as a drummer.
It was a Halloween gig that we did.
That was a Halloween gig up in was it Jupiter, Connie?
Yeah, it was. Fun show.
Gave him a list, and he had the whole set list done. There's no way that I thought he was going to be able to pull it off. I had a lot of confidence that we'd be able to get through the gig, but I didn't think that he was going to nail it as much as he just didn't have any time to learn all the material. And as I said before, once you start really digging in, you realize it's a lot more complicated than is on the surface.
Yes. And so now I've had the chance to play drums and bass with Aerosmith, and I actually enjoy playing the bass a lot more, to be honest with you.
Less to drag.
Yeah, there's less shit to drag around. But I just love the bass in Aerosmith, and I think it suits me well. You know, I'm tall and blonde and kind of have the bit of the Tom Hamilton thing, and but I love the bass playing. I just enjoy the crap out of it.
Yeah, Tom is such a melodic bass player too, so it's really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's excellent. Excellent.
Underrated, man.
Yeah, the whole band is, and I'm glad you guys are doing chose to do Aerosmith, because they're really a very unique band. There's really no one like them, and
they're one of the one of the truly great American rock bands. There's so many great British rock bands, but
yeah,
as far as American bands go, they're up in the top 3 as far as I'm concerned.
Number one, and I think that's one of the important things as well, as far as what we're trying to do is those guys are so good at what they do, and I think our individual and collective goal is to make them proud. Make them proud that just like everybody else in the world, we love their music, and we love their music so much. We want to present it out there in a way that they would be proud that we would be presenting it out there, carrying that torch for Aerosmith. And I think we do, from what I understand, I think we do a pretty good job of it. So
you got my vote.
Are incredible, irreplaceable. Nobody can do what they do, but the idea there would be is just to make sure that we make our best efforts to do a great job of presenting that correctly.
Yeah, you definitely do. You guys are fantastic. So I still get together and practice.
We've had a couple of gigs recently outdoor. One was outdoor.
Yeah.
But we did do a couple rehearsals before that, and it went really well. So I think we've all been keeping up our chops during the pandemic time here the last 8 months. I know I have. I practice every day. I even go over songs that aren't even in our set list. So just to challenge myself a bit. So
Nice.
yeah, we're all trying to keep our chops up and hopefully get back out there more regularly soon.
Yeah, I think a couple more, I think once we get through like February, March, everything should start getting better. The vaccine will be coming. A lot of people will be taken care of, all the frontline workers. And so hopefully we'll get back to having some fun here pretty soon, because I can't take another 6 months of this pandemic.
The musicians have been suffering.
Yeah.
All the people that are part of that whole music community, roadies, managers, venues, we've all been hurting, and everyone's hurting, no matter who you are. And music is so healing. It's musicians miss playing, people miss going to see music, so sure would be to get all that back, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
During our downtime, that's basically what I did also. I played a lot. I also play in a cover band. So that's been keeping me busy, because the shows are anything that is open. They're all outside and socially distanced and everything. So, but other than that, I'm absolutely concerned because it's just affected, it basically comes down to everybody. I definitely think the music community has been hit pretty hard though, because without shows, there's just so many people that are out of work to begin with. You don't really, the average thinks, well, they get to see their favorite band because the tour gets canceled. But there's so many people behind the scenes, even on something like an Aerosmith show. There's just a lot involved, and it's really tough. And my biggest fear is people, if it does start to open up, which we've been actually pretty lucky in Florida. The fear factor, or the shell shock after, it's just like, okay, it stopped. The hurricane's over, and they're peeking out of their houses to see if they can just go out and go see a show again. So it might take a little bit more time. And when the vaccine comes out, I think that'll definitely help. But I think the average person is pretty fearful, just because you just really don't know.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully it'll get normal sometime soon, and we can all go out and go to.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. So thank you guys very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And come back on. Definitely when all the Tribute Wars TV show, as soon as you guys are maybe done filming with that, come back on and let me know how that was.
Very good.
Absolutely, bro.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you enough. Warm up there in Illinois.
Thanks.
Stay warm, my brother. Hey, and you're always welcome down here, man. Come down here and hang out with us.
I know. I may have to this winter. I can't take it anymore.
Take yourself a little winter break and come on down here and hang with Aerosmith.
Yeah, you play. Come jam with us.
Well, Scott's a great bass player. So.
Yeah, man, I'll play. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Come back anytime. Once again, the guys from Aerosmith.
The boys.
The boys. Should I say boys or
Boys
guys?
from Illinois.
Check us out at aerosmithband.com on our website, or look us up on Facebook under Aerosmith Band, and keep up to date on what's going on. We started doing a few shows, although they are limited. They're more up close and personal shows right now, but if you want to know a little bit more and see what's going on, aerosmithband.com.
Aerosmith. I'll put that.
TH.
Okay, I'll put that link in the description for everybody.
Awesome.
And thanks again, guys, and let's talk soon, okay?
Okay,
right.
thanks.
Take care, my brother.
All right, later, guys.
Peace.
Peace.